Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a bit of a mystery, and I want you to literally picture this with me. Imagine a massive, loud factory floor. You've got conveyor moving, parts clanking everywhere, people working hard. But there's a huge problem. Every single day, zap, the exact same machine on this assembly line just grinds to a complete halt, total shutdown. And every single day, without fail, a tech rushes over, pops in a brand new fuse, and bam, the machine hums right back to life. The line starts moving, the manager's thrilled, problem solved, right? Well, not exactly, because exactly 3 days later, on that exact same machine, we get the exact same breakdown. And what happens? The tech replaces the exact same fuse.
You know, this right here is what we call the firefighting trap. And man, it is so easy to fall into. We all do it, right? We get a problem, we slap a quick fix on it to get things moving, and we just move on. In our factory, the symptom is obviously that blown fuse, so the tech treats the symptom. They replace the fuse, which, honestly, feels great in the moment because it stops the bleeding. But they never actually figure out why the machine keeps breaking in the first place. This endless loop of just reacting to the same thing over and over, it burns time, it burns money, and it's just plain exhausting. It's literally like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. Sure, it hides the problem, but underneath, nothing is actually healed.
Think of it like dealing with a stubborn weed in your backyard. If you just treat the symptom, it's like running a lawnmower right over that weed. You just chop it at the surface, and hey, for a few days, your yard looks amazing. But because you left the entire root intact underground, you just know that weed is coming right back. Mowing the leaves is changing that fuse. If we really want to fix the problem for good, we have to get our hands dirty, dig deep into the soil, and rip that weed out by the root. Because when you pull the root, the whole shebang is gone. The weed never comes back.
Which brings us to our ultimate tool for today, root cause analysis, or RCA. RCA is this incredibly structured method for digging way past those visible symptoms to find the actual underlying cause. It's the one thing that, if you fix it, stops the problem dead in its tracks permanently. Because most problems, whether we're talking business, engineering, software, or even just our daily lives, they usually just show up as symptoms. A software bug crashes your app or a machine fails. RCA forces a total mindset shift. It forces you to ask why this is happening, not just what happened. It takes you from being a stressed-out reactive firefighter to a proactive problem solver. You fix it once, permanently, instead of 50 times temporarily. This is why fields where mistakes cost serious money or lives, like airline safety or hospital admin, absolutely rely on RCA. Okay, let's look at the absolute simplest but arguably most powerful tool in the RCA toolkit. It's called the 5 Whys. This was developed by Sakichi Toyota, and it became this legendary core part of the Toyota production system. The concept is brilliantly simple. Actually, scratch that. It's so simple a toddler could do it. Have you ever argued with a kid who just keeps asking, "But why? But why?" That is exactly what you're doing here. When a problem happens, you ask why. Whatever answer you get, you take it and ask, okay, but why did that happen? You just channel your inner relentless 5-year-old, usually asking why about 5 times, until you hit that bedrock foundational cause. If you fix that, the whole chain collapses.
Let's actually use this on our factory mystery right now. Exactly how they do it at Toyota. So, we start with the surface symptom. The machine stopped. Why? Because a fuse blew. Now, most people stop right here, but we're playing detective, remember? So question 2, why did the fuse blow? Well, there was an overload in the circuit. Question 3, okay, why the overload? Because a bearing didn't have enough lubrication, which caused massive friction and overloaded the motor. Question 4, but why wasn't there enough lubrication? Because the oil pump wasn't pumping enough oil. And finally, question 5, why wasn't it pumping enough oil? Because the pump's intake was totally clogged with tiny metal shavings. Wait, why were those shavings there? Because there was no filter installed. Boom, right there, the root cause. All of this chaos because of one missing filter.
Just look at the 2 different realities we can choose from here. If we take the easy road, the surface fix of replacing the fuse, that machine runs for maybe 3 days until friction builds up, the motor overloads, and bam, another blown fuse. It's a nightmare loop. But look what happens if we go with the root cause fix and just install that oil filter. The filter catches the debris. Because there's no debris, the pump doesn't clog. No clog means plenty of oil. Plenty of oil means 0 friction on the bearing. No friction means the motor doesn't overload, and because the motor doesn't overload, that fuse never ever blows again. By fixing the root, we literally just erase the entire chain of failures.
So, the crucial takeaway here, the absolute golden rule is this. The true root cause is almost never the first answer you get. It's usually 3, maybe 4 layers beneath the obvious explanation. That's RCA in a nutshell.
Every single why pulls you one layer deeper into the earth. You go from a mechanical symptom, like a blown fuse, down to a process failure, all the way to a true systemic issue, like a missing filter. But to pull this off, you have to actively fight your natural human urge to just grab the first easiest answer and move on. You've got to keep digging.
Now, the 5 whys is the perfect starting point. But sometimes you run into mysteries that are, a bit more tangled. So let's crack open the Advanced Detective Toolkit. Bigger mysteries need bigger tools. First up, the Fishbone diagram, or Ishikawa diagram. This one is awesome for brainstorming multi-factor problems. It groups causes into categories like people, process, or equipment instead of just a straight line. Then you've got fault tree analysis. This is super technical, mostly used in safety-critical engineering, mapping out every single possible failure path to prevent major disasters. And finally, Pareto analysis, based on the 80-20 rule. This is your go-to for figuring out which handful of root causes are responsible for the vast majority of your headaches, so you know exactly where to focus your energy.
But honestly, no matter which tool you grab, you can always rely on this simple 4-step master plan. It's like your personal detective's toad for any recurring issue, whether it's a busted machine or a glitchy app. Step 1. Define the problem. Be insanely specific about what went wrong and what the impact is. Step 2. Ask why repeatedly. Channel that relentless kid energy. Don't stop at the first answer. Step 3. Identify the true root cause. You'll know you found it when it's something deep in the system, like a missing step or a design flaw. And Step 4. Fix that root cause, not the symptom, and then actually verify over time that your fix kept the problem from coming back. We've covered a lot today, transforming from frustrated firefighters into true methodical problem solvers. But the real secret ingredient to all of this? It's patience. It is so incredibly tempting to just accept the first plausible excuse so you can finally cross a problem off your to-do list. Real root cause analysis means actively fighting that urge. So here's my challenge to you. The next time something breaks in your life, a process at work, a software bug, whatever it is, resist the urge to just patch the surface. Ask yourself, are you willing to ask why just one more time than feels comfortable? Because I promise you, that one extra slightly uncomfortable question, that is exactly where the real answer is hiding. Thanks for diving into this explainer with me, and happy problem solving.